How would you like to 17x your investment in 10 years? So you invest $10,000 and in a decade you have $170,000. You invest $100,000 and in a decade you have $1.7 million without adding any more investment. And by the way, last year it returned 70%. That's right, 70% return in 2023. Thought you might be interested. This is an ETF in the semiconductor space. Let us go into my computer for another ETF in the artificial intelligence space. And you're welcome. So here we are in my computer on the VanEck website, looking at the SMH VanEck Semiconductor ETF. This absolutely is a millionaire maker stock. A quick look shows us that the year-to-date return is 18.81%. So from January 1, 2024 until as of May 1st, this ETF has returned 18.81%. So that's only in 4 months. Total net assets is $17.35 billion. The expense ratio is 0.35, which means you're going to pay $35 for every $10,000 you have invested, which is not bad if you're getting these great return. The fund has been in existence since December 20th of 2011. The fund description. VanEck Semiconductor ETF, ticker SMH, seeks to replicate as closely as possible before fees and expenses the price and yield performance of the MVIS US listed Semiconductor 25 index, which is intended to track the overall performance of companies involved in semiconductor production and equipment. So those are the companies involved in making the computer chips and all of the electronics associated with that. As we know, this is a critical component in artificial intelligence. So there are 26 companies in this ETF, and they're both US and international companies. The index seeks to track the most liquid companies in the industry based on market capitalization and trading volume. Industry leaders, the index methodology favors the largest companies in the industry, which is beneficial to you because the bigger they are, the more successful they tend to be, and the harder they are to fail. Global scope, the portfolio may include both domestic and US listed foreign companies, allowing for enhanced industry representation. It's traded on the NASDAQ. So let's look at some returns. SMH, the 1 year return has been about 72%. The 3 year return has been about 23.64%. The 5 year return, 34.64%. And the 10-year return has been about 27.21%, which is excellent. And since inception, since December of 2011, the life of the fund has been about a 26% return. Excellent returns. This is a way for you to beat the S&P 500. Now let's look at the growth of a hypothetical $10,000 investment as of May 1st, 2024. So if you would have invested $10,000 in May of 2014, it would be worth now $105,145.70. So more than 10 times. More than 10 times. And since inception, if you would have invested $10,000 in December of 2011, now it would be worth within about $175,000. Right, if you would have invested $10,000 in December 2011, now it would be worth about $165,000. It's like 16 times, which is great. That's what that great rate of return will do for you. So this is the rate of return in chart format. See the SMH is in the dark blue, and the benchmark index is in the green. And you see it's tracking pretty closely, right? It's tracking very closely. The only down year in the last 10 years they had was in 2018. They lost about 9%, and in 2022 they lost about 33%, but it has recovered tremendously. Now let's look at the holdings. We said there is 26 holdings in this SMH semiconductor ETF. And as of May 1st, the holdings are NVIDIA, which is the top holding at 20.45%. And as you may not know, NVIDIA has been killing it, right? Because this is a company involved in making computer chips, and as we said, very critical in artificial intelligence. So 20% of the SMH ETF is NVIDIA. 12.74%, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSM. Broadcom, 7.8%. Texas Instrument, 5%. Qualcomm, 4.8%. ASM Holding, 4.64%. Applied Materials, 4.49%. So what this shows you that you may, the diversification is going to help you, because if you went very heavy into NVIDIA, you could do well because NVIDIA has been very successful. Let's go to NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been very successful over the last decade. Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been very successful over the last decade. Look at the 10-year chart. The 10-year chart, NVIDIA is up almost 19,000%. If you bought NVIDIA 10 years ago, in 2014, you'd have paid about $4.50. Now you're going to pay $877 for NVIDIA. That's about a 200x growth. So if you would have invested $5,000 in NVIDIA in 2014, that would have been now worth $1 million. If you would have invested $10,000, right now it'd be worth $2 million. Every $5,000 invested in NVIDIA 10 years ago is worth $1 million. If you would have invested $20,000, that would be now worth $4 million. That's the tremendous growth. So one might say, let's go heavy into NVIDIA. But when you do that, you're now susceptible to single stock risk, right? If NVIDIA goes down, all your money is in NVIDIA. But with this ETF, you have NVIDIA. Now, but with this ETF, you have NVIDIA, but it's not 100% of your holding, right? There's other companies in there to kind of spread the risk around, right? You have Qualcomm, 4.80%, ASM Holdings, 4.64%, Applied Materials, 4.49%, Micron Technology, 4.45%, Lam Research, Analog, Advanced Micro Devices, KLA Corporation. You have Intel Corporation, 3.35%, Synopsys, Cadence Design. Some of these companies you haven't even heard of, but they're involved in a manufacturing of computer chip and are going to help spread your risk around, increase your diversification, and are driving the growth of this ETF. 70% return on this ETF in 2023. Microchip Technology, Marvell Technology, ST Microelectronics, Monolithic Power Systems, On Semiconductor, Teradyne Inc., Skyworks Solution, Qorvo Inc., 0.4% Universal Display. So it is diversified with 26 holdings. I think it's probably really only 25 holdings, and then you have the cash, I believe. So this ETF is a juggernaut. It's one of the best, if not the best, semiconductor ETFs out there that you could invest in to really get those growth to beat the S&P 500. Now let's look at investing into this ETF over the last 10 years, right? with a rate of return of about 27% rate of return. If that rate of return of 27% annualized can continue for the next 10 years, let's look if we invested, say, $100 a month, right? If we invested $100 every month and we're getting a 27% rate of return annualized, and we're going to do over 10 years, we would have $59,000. Not bad. $100 a month, we get 27 annualized rate of return. In 10 years, we have $59,000. What if we invested $200 a month? $200 a month into this ETF, if it can continue that track record of 27% annualized, we would have $119,000. What if we can do $300 per month? We would have $179,000. What if we can do $500 per month? We'd have almost $300,000 in 10 years with a rate of return of 27%. What if we can do $1,000 a month? If you can do if we can do $1,000 a month, and this ETF can continue to generate this return of 27% because of this AI boom that we're seeing right now, you would have a portfolio value of $597,000. What if we can do $2,000 a month? If we could do $2,000 a month and we get a rate of return of 27%, you see in 10 years, we would have we'd have almost $1.2 million if we can do $2,000 a month. What if you can do $3,000 every month? If you can do $3,000 every month and you're getting this 27% rate of return, you would have $1,792,000. If you can generate that 27% return, you would have almost $1.8 million. And they're anticipating that because of the growth of artificial intelligence, there's going to be over 42% annualized growth in the artificial intelligence sector because of AI. So, is this realistic? With all the indicators pointing that it's going to be, right? So, $4,000 every month into this ETF will generate you almost $2.4 million in 10 years, right? So you can say this is an opportunity to outpace the S&P 500 by focusing in this sector. Let's look at $5,000 every month. $5,000 every month. $5,000 every month with a rate of return in 10 years, you could have $3 million. Right? So again, guys, MD Investor with another video to increase our financial IQ, giving us an opportunity to pick up millionaire maker stocks in the artificial intelligence sector. Again, guys, the MD Investor with another video to increase our financial IQ, giving us opportunity to pick up these millionaire maker stocks in ETF. If there's people out there you think could benefit, send them the video. I'd appreciate a subscription. Until next time, continue to command your money to grow. MD Investor out.